together we will freeze the, make buses fast and deliver universal. We will freeze the, make buses fast and deliver universal.
They're afraid of Mr. Mamdani becoming an example to what can happen all over this country.
Bernie Sanders hailing New York City socialists, communists maybe, and mayoral hopeful Zohran Mamdani as the future of the Democrat Party as they push their socialist agenda together here in New York City. Our next guest, parents fled Castro's communist regime in Cuba. She's been fighting communism and socialism her entire career. Congresswoman Maria Salazar just reintroduced a resolution condemning socialism, and she joins us now. Welcome, Congresswoman. Always great to have you. So you hear this, you know, free buses, free, 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 and you think what?
Scary. Thank you for the opportunity. We introduced a resolution, as you said, Rachel, with Senator Rick Scott, so we can speak in one voice. I mean, the United States Congress, sending a message to the New Yorkers, be careful. Oh, my God, they drank the Kool-Aid. They are drinking the Kool-Aid, and that is very dangerous. Yeah. Socialism, Marxism, in practice is miserable. In theory is beautiful, and that's exactly what he's selling to the New Yorkers.
Yeah, you know, Maria, I remember talking to a Venezuelan man who came over. He was a dissident, you know, I don't know, maybe it was 10 years ago. And he had tears in his eyes as he was telling me, he's like, gosh, we need to teach the young people. He's like, they offered us free washing machines. He said, even free rice, a bag of rice. He said, that bag of rice wasn't worth my freedom. And I think people lose touch of that. Watch this, because not everybody was on board. There was a heckler in the audience who said this. I think you'll relate to it.
All right.
Now, we know, brother, I'm here with another Democratic socialist. Thank you, my friend. You know that something has changed when it's not enough to call us Democratic socialists anymore.
So the heckler saying, you are a communist. This is not Cuba. This is not Cuba. You're a fool. No communism. Your reaction?
Well, Cubans, you know, those are the people that I represent in Miami. My parents, like you said, I'm the daughter of political refugees. I'm first-generation American. And that's exactly the same story that was sold not only to the Cubans, but to the Venezuelans. Put aside the deaths. Let's not talk about the people who died. Let's talk about the misery that Mamdani is going to bring to that city. When he's saying that he's going to defund the police, then who is going to go and help you when you're being raped and you're being mugged? What about this grocery stores that are going to be run by the state? Yeah, Cuba tried exactly that. And if you see the pictures, they're empty and they're dirty because it's not human nature. The problem with Marxism is that glorifies envy, elevates envy. It legalizes theft. It makes government God. And that's not human nature. We're talking about equality of opportunities. Of course, look at me. Equality of opportunities. In one generation, I made it to the United States Congress. My parents, political refugees. But not equality. Is not equality of the outcome. The outcome, look, I want to be Jeff Bezos. I mean, I need the equality of the outcome. Come on. But unfortunately, very dangerous.
Yeah, he says he's a progressive or a democratic socialist, but we know what he really means. I think the greatest act of censorship, Congresswoman, has been what we've done to our textbooks for our children. They do not know the real history of the death and destruction and hunger caused by socialism. There's a communist museum, by the way, for the victims of communism in Washington, D.C. People should see it. There is a reason why people from Cuba, where your parents came from, put themselves and their children on, rafts in shark-infested waters to come to this country. Yeah. There is a reason.
And now that you said that, is very interesting that according to the polls, and I'm not an expert on the New York polls, but they're saying that the white kids and Chinese children or adults are with Mondami. Where are the Hispanics? We're talking about millions of Dominicans and Puerto Ricans and Jamaicans in New York City. They're not with him. You know why? Because they know better. So, I mean, 30 different cultures and languages have tried this formula, that Marxism, and it hasn't worked. But people forget, and that's why we're here sending this very clear message to the New Yorkers. Oh, I understand that capitalism is not perfect, but let's fix it. Let's don't destroy it.
Yeah. Well, he's ahead in the polls. New York City's probably going to find out real soon what communism looks like. Thank you so much, Congresswoman Salazar. Always great to have you.
Same. Thank you for the opportunity, Rachel.
Of course.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.